6 p.m. And I want to thank you for coming tonight because it's real bad weather. If everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'd like to call the meeting to order with a roll call. David Rule.
I'm here.
Lee Nichols. Lee.
Say here.
Here. Sue Harville.
Here.
Eli.
Here.
Sherry.
Here.
And Jeanette's here. And Sandra's at a school meeting. She's going to be late. So, yeah, we can do the town clerk tax collector first, David. That's fine. I just have to find it here.
Take one and pass it around if you could. That's an updated expenditure report as of 11 o'clock today.
You get one?
Thank you.
Shelley, is the tax collector under election and registration?
Yes.
Yes. Well,
Treasurer.
Well, both are.
No.
Financial administration is where you are.
And that's for Sandy.
There's nothing that says financial administration right now.
Yeah, it starts on page 13. It's a whole.
No.
That's yours.
In the table of contents. There isn't.
Yes, there is.
You said that.
Page 13.
Okay. Thank you, China, for doing this. I know you just did it today, so thank you. All right. Do all of you have your sheets of paper that Patsy gave us? For the town clerk tax collector, where she was asking for a 3% raise.
So what did other department heads get? Or were they scattered all over the place?
They're kind of scattered.
Yeah.
No percentage common.
They don't have any percentage. They just gave a certain amount, like financial got 5,000, electric got 3,000, Craig got something else, Public Works. They're all different. It isn't a certain percentage.
Yeah, department heads are different than union employees.
Mm-hmm.
So, a requested increase, should really be approved by the selectmen.
Mm-hmm.
Say we're going to give someone a pay raise,
Right.
and that's completely different than what the union is requesting.
But it really shouldn't be done by the selectmen where you're town manager now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say there's that discretion, but I still work for the board and with the board. It's the board's budget. It's not my budget.
No, except you're town manager now and not town administrator.
Yeah, exactly. But I would be.
That's a big difference.
But I have to work with the board as I would be held accountable if I did anything sort of out of line. If I went ahead and gave someone a $30,000 raise, I think the selectmen would have a talk to me.
Well, I think the budget committee would not approve that anyway.
So, do you see what I mean? So,
Okay, Charlie, I have a question on the 5,000 for the financial.
yes.
Is that position is full-time, is that correct?
Would the finance officer?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Is that position contract?
No.
Okay, now, if that position is full-time, why would you give that person more just because they're going down to water and sewer and do work? Because if they're full-time, it doesn't matter whether they spend 3 hours down at water and sewer and 3 hours up at the town office. If they're full-time, they're full-time.
But it's increased responsibilities.
But it's still full-time work.
Yes.
That's what I don't understand about why such a big raise.
Because, well, that's the raise that the selectmen determined, but the increased responsibility, you got to figure there's 3 more full-time employees than before, and it's another easily $800,000 budget, and
There's 5 new employees.
she's talking about water and sewer.
Well,
And
she also
But we haven't,
handles the electric department also.
not yet,
Okay.
as of next year.
But for the
Just
water
water
and sewer,
and
she
sewer.
just did accounts payable and accounts receivable.
All the financials.
I mean, I just don't understand why she's full time. Why such a big raise? Actually, maybe if the selectman gave it to her, maybe Eli can explain it.
I mean, it's a lot more responsibilities, and it's like adding another book of business.
But even if it's more responsibility, if that employee is full time,
Yeah.
then she takes on that responsibility, or he takes on that responsibility. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Sherry?
Fair enough.
I have a question. You asked us if we had Patsy's sheet, and then are we talking about Patsy or are we talking about the finance officer?
David asked a question about, David said, is there a certain percentage that you gave the other department heads? So
Okay,
that's
and
where
that
we came
just
to this.
Came to that. Okay.
Right.
I'm
That's how
sorry.
we came to this.
All right. I was confused for a minute.
Yeah, that's how we came to this.
Sorry.
Yeah.
we're all on the same page. I mean,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. But
To answer your question, no, there's not a set. There was not a
Okay.
3% across the board or 2% across the board. No.
Okay, so if we're talking about the tax collector and town clerk,
Right.
how was 1% determined, and was that something you or Eli could answer? What's the rationale for it?
It was a management decision.
But-
not being in the budget committee before. What is the typical salary raise for town employees or the town?
There is no
clerk?
typical except for the union employees.
Except for years past, what many of us tried to do as selectmen was to keep it consistent. Like if it was a 3% raise for one, then it was 3% for all the other employees. Not the union employees, because we didn't have any control over that. Sherry?
now we still don't know if the union is going for. I mean, you must have an idea what they're going for a raise. 3%, 5%. Can you give us an idea? Because if they're not going to get the raise, I don't know. I don't think the other employees should get a raise either. I mean, the argument a couple of years ago or last year was the town employees weren't getting a raise, so, and the union was, so they needed to get a raise. But if the union isn't getting a raise, then why are we going to give other people a raise?
I would think every year
I mean,
they
the
usually get one.
longevity line is at, I just had that, 5,000. Right here.
5926.
Yeah, but that longevity line, I think, is only for the town tax collector.
And clerk, I thought
That's
that's
right.
what we were
So
talking
that's got
about.
nothing
That's
to do with what we're referring to right now.
You
I thought we were
said
talking
about the
about the
union,
tax
that has
clerk.
nothing to do with the town clerk.
Well, it does. I think that if one doesn't get a raise, then none of them get a raise. I mean, I don't get a raise every year.
Well, the thing is, you didn't get an answer about the union yet. You just kept going on. So let's see if we can get an
Okay,
answer.
I'm sorry
Do you-
about
No,
that.
do you see what I'm saying, Sherry? Let's get an answer about the union, and then we can decide from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the union and the town are still in negotiations about the wages.
And you
So-
can't give us any idea.
Ballpark figure.
But
They've offered two different offers to us.
And we can't really know until we are not supposed to know until
Yeah.
they've actually made a decision.
Yeah.
so what is the deadline to get it in this year's budget for union contracts?
Well, I told the attorney today, I reminded her of that, like, we really got to get something done by January 14th.
Because it's got to be on the
That's
warrant
right.
article.
That's what I told him, by January 14th, and really the 21st is the deadline. So, and we made a counter offer today. So, and I mentioned that we have a selectmen's meeting on December 30th, so hopefully if they can get back to us, maybe we can get something approved December 30th.
Charlie, what I don't understand about the raises, and probably Eli wants to be involved in this too, is like you gave the Public Works department head a different raise. You don't have merit raises, so I don't understand. If you had merit raises, I would understand. Give this one $5,000 because that person, is so much better at their job or something, and then this one less. But if you don't have merit wages, I don't understand how you can justify giving $5,000, $3,000, 2%, 1%. I don't understand that.
I mean, I don't really have an answer for you either. I mean, that's a policy decision by the Board of Selectmen.
It's not a policy, though. There's no policy. They
It was a management decision.
That's right.
Right.
There's a difference.
And even though we put in a request for $3,000 with the DPW director, for example, it's up to the Board of Selectmen on whether or not that's granted.
I know that, but I don't understand the differences because it isn't merit. David?
Well, there are actually different kinds of jobs. I mean,
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about that.
if you're hiring a school teacher, you got to look at the labor market.
Yeah, but this isn't a
Saying-
school teacher. This
Well,
is
no,
totally
but I'm
different.
just using it as an example.
Yeah.
And
Well, you're the
people
one
work-
that asked the question to Charlie, how did you come up with these figures? Was it a certain percentage?
Yeah, well, I wanted to know how they came up with the figure. I don't know why it's 1% versus 3%.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and
It isn't merit.
cost of living. What drives that number? I don't.
Do you have a answer for that, Eli? Being one of the selectmen? Since you're representing the board?
I fall back on, it was a management decision, as with all the other raises. And
Did you have anything, any format or anything that you went by to figure out how much of a raise to give? Or did you just say, oh, $5,000 for that one, $3,000 for this one?
in many cases, Charlie recommended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've long thought the DPW director position salary was low compared to his capabilities and his performance that I've seen working with the position. I've always felt that salary was low.
And
Comparatively speaking to other communities, it is quite low. And the same thing with the finance position. I mean, there's a lot of responsibility that goes into that position. I mean, that position handles over a $7 million budget.
But see, the other thing is, too, like David mentioned about the 1% for the tax collector, town clerk. She has a big responsibility there and has been for 29 years. You're not going to find anybody to replace her. So my question is, why did you come up with the 1%? No, you're not, David. You're not going to find anybody to replace her with that kind of experience.
That's true. They would have to be learning on the job.
Right.
They'd have to be elected.
An elected position.
Yeah,
Technically, the salary is supposed to be.
But I do understand that different positions are.
Well, yeah, but you
different
asked
people
about the
with different
1%,
skills.
and we haven't gotten an answer yet.
Well, I mean, a lot of these. This is what department heads asked for. When they put in their
Patsy
budget,
did not ask for that.
she sure did.
That's not what she said at the meeting.
She asked for more
Right.
than what was given.
Then the 1%. Oh, I thought you were talking about her request.
No, we were talking about her raise.
Yeah.
Sherry?
So, in what you just said, you had no formula. You just said this person needs this much money.
Yes.
I'm going to give that to them. And what are the actual road qualifications? And I'm not dogging Craig,
Right.
but I want to know what his qualifications in DPW, roads, whatever. I don't believe it was his original background. I'm sure he's taken some classes.
Right.
What is he classified as now?
Well, they don't have
Because-
to classify.
So, I mean,
I mean, I can
technically,
get you the job
I like
description.
Craig, and I think he's done a great job.
Right.
At least I can have a customer before 1 o'clock. when it snows, but he doesn't have the qualifications of the DPW director in Holderness or whatever. And I'm saying we don't have Holderness money, so he's not going to get paid that, but or whatever. But he is an engineer. He has an engineer degree, I believe, in. So does Thornton's DPW director. So I'm kind of curious where you're basing that on. I understand he's in charge apparently of a $7 million budget. You said
No, that's the finance office.
okay. Sorry, but I'm just curious where you got these numbers from. Where did you compare it to? Did you compare it to any other towns? Anybody's other experience? Craig's
Well, it is compared to
Craig's
the towns.
with
It's
us.
just the DPW director
What
here.
what
It's just
towns are we talking? Towns
Well, go look
comparable?
at Guilford. Go look at Laconia.
We're not.
look at New
We're not
Hampshire. I know
Laconia. We're not Guilford.
Yeah.
We're not that big. Sorry.
So
Okay.
Charlie,
So I don't know what you guys want me to say here.
No.
It's the request that was in, and ultimately all it is a request for the budget committee, and the decision on raises is ultimately up to the Board of Selectmen. And it goes back to what Eli says, it's a management decision.
So the 5,000 for the finance, the 3,000 for the DPW director, the 3,000 for the electric, none of those are contracts. Because they're not contracts, the budget committee can cut those.
And there's no taxation with those either.
Yeah. Lee?
You just said 3,000 for the electric. Who's getting that raise?
I think she misspoke.
What did they get down to the electric
Oh,
department?
you're talking about the clerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, the clerk. Yes.
What did she get?
Yeah, 3,000.
That's what I just said.
But that's water and sewer, not electric.
She's doing water,
I was
sewer,
going to say,
and
you just said electric.
No, the
That's what I was
5,000
asking.
is finance.
For water and sewer,
The 3,000 is electric.
no, it's water and sewer budget.
She's becoming the utility
But
clerk.
she's the utility clerk.
Okay, but she's still getting a $3,000. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Those two positions for the increased responsibilities on taking on the budget for water and sewer, the HR, and the bill.
Accounts
But there
receivable.
again, she's full time too. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's fair for those increased responsibilities that people should be compensated to take that on.
she's taking on a whole nother department.
But she's still a full time.
What does
So she's not working any more hours to do it. So there must be time to do that work.
No.
Well, she's not taking on any more hours.
I don't think the electric bills and the bills have been going out first in the.
She isn't doing any more hours.
She's doing more work though.
Doesn't matter. She's still working the same hours she did before.
Then she's going to have to step up her game and get it all done.
Well, we didn't get the bills. We didn't get the bills any earlier before anyway.
So
Oh, yes, you did.
Oh, I didn't.
When I was there, you did.
Well, we're not talking about
Oh,
way back then. Okay, David, so we're talking about the town clerk, tax collector. I would like to see, I'd like to get the opinion from the other board members. I'd like to see the employees get the same percentage. Like, if it's 3%, then the employees all get a 3% raise.
Well, clearly it's not the way it's working. It's more based on. I can see how you could look at each position differently depending on the labor market. You compare one town clerk tax collector to other town clerks tax collectors rather than the DPW.
But how do you compare it to a person that's been there 29 years and done the
Yeah, I
work
think
that she does?
She deserves some sort of raise. I'm not quite sure what it would be.
Well, that's what we have to decide as a budget committee.
Yeah.
And you're the one that brought it up. Do you have any suggestion? I mean, I think 3% is an average increase for employees.
Well, you could split the difference, 2%. I don't know.
I don't think 2% is enough. Sherry?
So, the town clerk and the tax collector are kind of mandated through the state and everything. And plus these longevity raises, what I just have here. So our town clerk and tax collector is actually making $62,000 plus a year.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
You
not.
add her salary you add the 19,570. You add the 19,000
right now
there,
she's making
plus you-
$49,852.
Plus you add those together.
No, you don't. Right now she's making
Okay, so-
$49,852.
Okay, so right now we're only talking about the town clerk.
Town clerk tax collector.
Okay. But the town has deemed to connect them. So
They voted to
they
put
voted
them as
to
one
put
position.
them as one position. So in my eyes, you add that up, and wait a minute, let me go with your numbers here.
Sherry, look at the top. Clerk, collector. So she only makes $49,852.
Yeah.
That's
And then
all
what
she
does
makes.
she make for the town?
Oh, no, this is what she asked for.
That's what she's asking
what
for.
the
That's not
increase
what
would be.
she's making. And for 29 years of service, if you check other towns with about the same population, $49,852 is low. It's really low.
So
Okay,
the selectmen
fine.
want to give her
Done.
$50,352.
And Patsy's asking for $51,348.
So, I'll vote. What else is to discuss? I mean, some want it, some don't.
What there is to discuss, Sherry, is I need a motion.
Well, I mean, we have no way
I need a
to
motion.
determine how they calculated everybody else's raises, so it's kind of like a whim thing.
Yeah, and we could take them away if we want.
So,
Does anybody want to make a motion
I mean, I'll make a motion
to
not
give Patsy
her
the
raise.
$51,348 that she's asking for?
I'm not going to make the motion, but if you look at page 16, you voted on 19 for this position, the finance problem, as tax collector, town clerk, and finance officer. The 101,346.
No.
That was voted.
No, that's not the.
No.
That's not the just the salary. That's
No.
everything.
I'm not arguing that point.
We're talking, right now we're just discussing her pay, that's all.
Let me finish.
Okay.
If you look at it, there's an increase of $24,500.
But that's not her pay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But that's because that's not her pay.
No.
Are we
That
talking
increase is being
finance office or not?
No,
That's
she's
right.
talking about town clerk.
Now,
tax
then,
collector.
then
Page 16
don't
is
forget,
my
I think,
finance
if I
office.
It's
remember
not
correctly, when she
she
was
should-
here, Patsy was going to get more money because there's 4 elections this year.
She
Was it?
doesn't get that money.
No. It's more work. It's
That's
not-
more work, and that money
Okay, then
for
what-
those 4
if you're saying
elections.
more work, then what about the finance officer? And you're saying, well, that's
She
just
is.
part
That,
of her.
Patsy's not being paid more. That extra money is for the machine, the
Superintendent.
Super-
ballot clerks,
right.
Ballots.
Supervisor.
town moderator.
Yeah.
So that's not money given to her. That's not money given to that position.
Yeah. The increase here is mostly in the finance officer position.
That's because we combined, that salary used to be under the executive assistant, and then we
So you move money.
we moved it last year, and as you can see under the executive, the admin assistant, that line is down to 18,000. So there was no increase. We had those. The town had the responsibilities of finance and HR and the executive admin assistant position, and it shouldn't have been, because that's a union position, and that position should not have been handling HR. And we needed someone, and then the town hired out a consultant to do the other financial work.
So are you handling HR right now?
No, we hired a finance HR person that strictly does finance HR.
Oh, okay, because before HR was with the town administrator.
Oh, I don't know.
So I didn't know if,
I mean, I did a little,
yeah.
with dealing with the insurance. I've done payroll when the position
When
was
Pat
open.
Kroll,
Pat Kroll. Yeah, when Pat Kroll retired. Yeah. And then Wendy Smith and they also did the clerk duties. But I found we needed someone. We had career consultant as for doing the finance balances and stuff, but we really needed someone.
Well, you know, that's
full-time
another
HR.
thing. Wendy and Pat used to help Patsy, and now Patsy has no one helping. Sue?
What may I ask? Which lines do we add up for the finance HR lady?
It's that 4150-10-120, the salary finance officer.
Okay,
56.
before we go on to something else, can we
I'm
finish
like
up?
so confused what you're even talking about.
Can we-
Finance
Can we do the
or
clerk
Patsy
salary?
or
Yes, that's what I
clerk?
want to do. I want to finish
have
up with the
clue.
town clerk tax collector. David, do you want to make a motion?
Well, she's asking for $1,000 more. I'll be willing to go with that.
The 51,348?
Yeah,
Um,
okay. I'll move that.
Would you break it out? And
The salary is 19,570. Town clerk is longevity is 6104. Tax collector is 195.70, and tax collector longevity is 6104.
the only thing that I'll ask if a motion is made is to leave the salary alone and put it into the longevity.
So you want the salary to remain at 19?
And put the money into the longevity.
Why do you want that?
In case, sooner or later,
That's how they
Patsy's
do
going to
it.
retire. Instead of a new person coming in may not,
Have that longevity line.
well, they may not be getting the salary.
Right. Or the
of
longevity.
same-
Okay, we've got a motion on the floor. We need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made by David Rule to approve the 51,348. Seconded.
Well, it should. Eli has a valid point. We have to know what lines we're changing.
We can.
Do you want that as a
No,
second
you
motion?
can't. This is a bottom line budget.
No, but we have to present the lines.
No, but we can. And Patsy said she didn't care which line it was in.
Okay, can I amend my motion to that the 19,000 will be 19,000 for town clerk salary and the rest will be longevity?
19,570.
No, 19,000.
The 19,000.
As Eli
Okay.
suggested.
Yeah. And then, and
Whatever.
what's the rest of your recommendation?
With the tax
It'll
salary,
be
tax collector salary.
6,674. Yeah. Those two lines for longevity would be 6,674, and it'd be 19,000 for the basic salaries for the two.
It doesn't come out right.
Well, it has to.
It doesn't. 38 and 6,674 is only 44,674.
You have to add two of them.
There's 19 and 19.
Okay, because he didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
there would be.
One is 19,570,
Yeah, we're just
and
adding
one
five
is
cents.
19.
Yeah, okay. So David's motion is to approve the amount that Patsy's asking for with 19,000 in the town clerk, 19,000 in the tax collector, 6674 in the town clerk longevity, and 6674 in the tax collector longevity, coming to a total of 51,348. Sherry?
And you added that to the clerk and
Yeah,
so
it comes to 51,000
6,674 that
for the longevity for the clerk.
for each one.
Yes.
So and I didn't use those numbers. Can we total both of those salaries so we know exactly what those salaries
It comes
are?
to 51,348.
That's
and what
one, and then
the town clerk salary is 19,000.
plus 66.
The tax collector salary is 19,000. And then the town clerk longevity is 6674.
Sherry, it's
And the
all-
tax, hold on,
I
and the
have it
tax
right here.
collector
I know, it's all
longevity
in the
is 6674.
It's only the middle section.
But
Yeah,
she
but it's
said
totally
for
different.
both of them.
It is.
Yes, there's a tax.
I understand that they're both, but I would like to total.
It comes
If
to
you can-
51,348.
I want to total the town clerk and the town clerk and the tax collector.
Okay, the total
Because it doesn't come.
It does.
All right, so go
the
ahead.
total
Forget
for the
it then.
town clerk comes to $25,674 with the salary and the longevity.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I'm done.
And the one for the tax collector comes out the same. So it totals
Okay,
51,348.
yep, thank you.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Nay.
Nay.
And Lee, what did you do?
I abstain.
Three,
I forget.
3 to 3
Aye.
fails.
And Sandy's not here.
And I'll explain in a minute.
You don't have to.
Okay, so the motion fails.
What?
I think it.
It doesn't.
I think it passed.
No, it didn't have to be four.
He
It
abstained.
has to be a majority of who's voting. No, we should probably
No,
wait.
it has to be majority of the number of budget committee members.
It does?
When we had 9, we used to have to do 5. Now we have 7, we need to do
I
4.
think you're right, David.
It has to be 4,
I
because there's
I don't
7
mind
members.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it
If he,
passed.
if he abstains, that's actually a no vote.
Right.
There,
That's one way of looking at it, yeah.
there are 2 that voted no, and there are 3 that voted yes. So there are, it's split. A
Right.
split loses.
That's right. It didn't
Okay.
carry.
Well, fine. But we still have no, and may have to wait for Sandra to,
Yeah,
Settle
we
this.
still can bring it up again at another meeting.
or are we going to vote, are we going to vote on the whole thing now, or again, on another number, or what?
Right then, you were only asking for the pay. That's what we were voting on, because that's what you were asking about.
Right.
Do you have anything different in the budget? If not, we can accept the rest of the budget without her pay.
Which budget were you looking at?
Town clerk, tax collector.
Well, it's not a separate budget, it's...
No, I know. Lee?
My understanding, I don't care how you shuffle these numbers on these lines. This is a bottom line town. The Board of Selectmen and the town manager can move money from anywhere they want.
Right.
You can vote in all the raises you want. You can vote a raise in $100,000 per employee. And they may say, no, it's only going to be $1 per employee. It's a bottom line budget. In my opinion, what we need to do is go through and look at each one, come up with a figure, then total it, and that's what you vote on.
No, you have to have it separate, because each one is different. So you can't just have the bottom line figure. Everything, you have to know how much this one is going to get, how much this one is going to get. You can't just have the bottom line.
But they can change that whatever way they want.
Right.
They aren't the last ones to change it, though. The budget committee is.
Once the people vote, then the Board of Selectmen town manager can do anything with that money they want.
Right, that's true.
Not after the townspeople vote on it.
Yes. Because it's a bottom line budget.
Oh, yeah, they can spend it wherever they want.
Exactly.
Correct.
So
but
you
they
can vote all the
can't
raises
change.
you want. You can deduct raises.
That's right.
You can do anything. It's up once the people vote.
But the thing is,
Then
if
they
the
can do what they
people voted in, okay, and the budget is right there, what they should do is go by the people's will as to how the people feel to spend the money. That's what they should do. Sherry?
I believe what kind of Lee is getting to is, yeah, they can shift money. An employee was let go because they were told there was no money in the budget. But we budgeted for that position till the end of 2019. So how can their position all of a sudden disappear and not have enough, be told that there's not enough money in the budget when we budgeted for that salary?
You're going to have to ask Charlie
So,
and Eli.
well,
now.
I'm just saying, I believe, if I'm wrong, I don't know,
No, you're right.
I mean, bottom line is bottom line. They let an employee go this year that was voted on in the budget for her salary for the year.
You're going to have to ask Charlie.
Well, I mean,
That
Did you
is,
go with
that's
that?
out of the enterprise, it's out of the enterprise funds.
yeah.
So it's not a town, it's not the
Exactly.
town, it's not the
It's
town
a totally
budget.
different.
That's right.
You've got
It's a-
four
it's a-
different budgets.
That's right.
in
It
this
has
town.
nothing to do with the taxes.
It has nothing to do,
Correct.
that was not a tax situation.
That's right.
Right. Correct. You've
But
got four
basically,
different
it's a
budgets.
bottom line budget.
Oh,
I
No,
I
you've
don't
got
know
each-
if that's where you were going,
each of
but
the individual budgets
our bottom line.
bottom line budgets,
Right.
yes.
Yeah. You've got three utility budgets, and you've got the tax town budget.
And yeah.
And you cannot, by 38 and 149I, you cannot commingle funds, et cetera, et cetera. Therefore, you've got the town budget that they can, the Board of Selectmen and can do whatever, and town manager can do with everything they want. But the utility budgets have to remain as utility budgets.
They're enterprise funds. And are separate from
So-
town budget.
Okay, how about the rest of the tax collector, town clerk
You mean
budget?
financial administration?
Well, it's tax collector, town clerk.
No,
She's
it's
the
all-
one that does it all.
No, there's all other stuff in here.
But she's the one that does it.
No,
The
there's
election.
There's a finance office, isn't it?
No, but
finance
there's a
officer,
tax
treasurer.
collector.
There's all,
Then
what do you mean?
how do we vote on what Patsy needed, the things that she told us that
Okay,
she
you want
needed
to
in
vote
her
on her
budget?
salary again?
No.
No, on what
I don't
Patsy
want to vote on the salary
presented
again.
as
To-
what she needs
Right, it
to
should
run
be
her
here, isn't
department.
it? Isn't it separate here,
Well,
Charlie?
financial administration, it's not, it includes other things. It includes the finance officer, the treasurer. Unless you
So,
wanna-
in other
Page
words, you
11.
did not.
It's never been separated.
No, it's not. a
So,
separate-
how do we know whether to accept what she needs and what?
Well, to what she receives, it's an increase of 500 at a minimum $570 to what we said the bottom line of the selectmen's budget, because the department she requested. Did she request? I can't see that, David.
What?
She requested in her salary.
Yeah, and that just got voted down.
Yeah. So she's just asking for you to put $570 back into it. I mean, but that also increases FICA and Medicare, but those are pretty small.
Yeah,
You know, it's
those are easy enough
for
to do.
$570, 7% of it.
Do we want to vote the rest of the financial administration? Leave salaries for another day or something?
Might as well, right on it.
I don't want to vote on the financial tonight. I have a few other questions
Oh,
to
okay.
go over with Charlie.
Well, I almost think until Sandra shows up and expresses her opinion, we're not going to come to any conclusion.
On that, yeah, but we can
So-
do the public works. We could do park and rec, police.
Executive.
Start at the beginning. I don't know. Anywhere.
Let's do park and rec. Then if we have to call her back in, we
I think
can.
we already approved those.
No, we didn't.
Oh, sorry.
We listened to it.
We listened to it, but we never approved anything.
Okay.
The only one we approved was the library.
In cemetery.
And
Well, the cemetery, we voted the money in.
What page, please?
85.
Thanks.
Page 56.
What?
A park and rec.
57, Abby.
85?
we're on Park and Rec.
Oh, Park and Rec.
We keep.
85.
Make up my mind for me.
Park and Rec.
Okay, now in this, there is a 3% increase.
Right. For part-time jobs, yeah.
How many hours a week does she work?
on the week.
Yeah, yeah. Generally 20. She's part time, doing regular hours. Probably 40 hours in June, July, and August for summer camp.
Because she has another job.
Oh, okay.
But pretty much during the school year, about 20 hours. I'd say 20 hours.
Yeah, 20 or 25. I mean, she's there when she's needed.
Mm-hmm. But doesn't the Park and Rec basically pay for itself?
It's beginning to. It never did. It never has.
Not supposed
Park
to.
and Rec is never a profit maker. It's just really a service to the town for the kids.
Though the campground is pretty.
Yeah, and that's totally separate. That can't,
Well,
you
yes,
know.
but it's part of Park and Rec.
No, it's part of her budget, but she's got no say over
That's
it.
right. She can't use the revenue from the campground
Yeah, but still.
because of the way that the will's made out.
What will?
What did she
The
bring in
campground
for
was from Edward
revenues?
Doggett.
Yeah, but it was the whole property was sold to the town.
To a will.
No, there's no will.
No.
I'll get it for you. That was
He was
years
still
and years
he
and
was
years
still
ago.
alive when he sold the property.
I'll show you it.
The Doggett campground.
That's right. The Doggett campground.
Right, but there was no.
No.
Okay, now let's get this done. We're
That's
getting way out of
so
here.
never mind.
All right, Park and Rec. Does anybody have any questions, or does anybody want to make a motion? Or?
I would move to 51705 for the first section of the Park and Rec budget.
What page are you on?
On page 89. A summary of the whole thing.
89. Oh.
Unless somebody has something before that, if they, in a particular line.
Okay, David made a motion to accept the $51,705 budget that the department head was asking for 2020.
And the selectmen.
And yeah, but mainly the department head. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Does anybody have any questions on this budget? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Please.
Abstain.
Eli, you said aye, right?
Yes, I did.
And Sherry did. Okay, motion carries.
Still got a lot of money set there. According to this.
The next part is the Park and Rec campground. And some of this she really can't control, the sewer, some of the improvements, the expenses, stuff like that, fuels, electricity, Medicare, FICA. Would
This
any,
is basically flat.
would anybody
it's
like
less.
to make a motion to accept the 2002?
I have a question
2000
first.
I'm going to
Sure.
do the questions after. The 2020 budget for $7,232.
Yes.
Okay, David made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Sue. Is there any discussion? Sherry?
What are the site rates right now, and are they going up? BOS or town manager?
They're not going up.
Why? Everybody gets a raise. You might as well. Why are the sites not going up?
She hasn't brought it forward.
You're
I don't know how to answer that. I'm sorry.
Well,
That's
I
not-
believe. Okay, so maybe
Go
the
ahead.
Board of Select, because the Board of Select had to do that last time, I believe.
We did years ago. She has not brought it to us.
So maybe the price
What?
that they charge now is comparable with the others, because I know for a few years ago it wasn't, so they went up on it.
Well, what is the rate now?
I have no idea. Do you know, Eli?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I thought it was
Aren't we making like
20.
60?
I mean, the last
like-
time
it's
I
like-
knew it was
it's like
not,
$1,700-$1,800 something like that.
and most campgrounds are way more than 17, 18.
Yeah, but they're totally different
can
than this
s-
campground. It doesn't have a lot of the things that others do.
It's got a beach. It's got water and sewer.
I know, but it's still totally-
It's got bathhouses. It's
With
got
electricity.
it's got electricity. How is it different?
Well, they still
other
and
campgrounds.
it is, and they still make a profit. It's not a private campground, David.
Well, the motion is on the expenditures, not on the revenues. We could change, I mean,
Wow.
we haven't gotten the revenues. I mean, but the revenues are,
They're in your. I gave them to Jeanette.
I gave them to everybody.
They're up to date.
Yep.
no, I mean, not, but the proposed revenue.
I mean, well, but it's,
I mean, I don't want to. I grew up in a campground. Their site rate is not compatible to other
But what I'm telling you,
campgrounds.
it's not a private campground,
It doesn't. Yeah, it's a town campground that
Right.
should be making money
and they are.
for the town.
They're making big bucks.
They should be
Lee?
making more if it's not compatible. You have a lake right there.
Lee,
Who made the decision that each one of those sites would be metered and billed by through the electric department?
well, that was in the motion, but those things were in motion by the former superintendent, Steve Foley.
Because you got 2 meters out there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then from there it's split out.
So this year, the campground made $66,247.
How many sites? Well,
That's the rental fees, so you could divide it by the 28 sites. And
right. So
come up with
most campgrounds make people move their trailers from their sites. You're actually giving them a summer rental and a winter rental for a summer rental
I think there
price.
is
And a winter storage.
fee.
A
There is
winter
a
that's the
fee.
storage.
There is a fee, yeah.
No, they're not.
But nobody knows what that is.
They're not there all winter.
What do you mean?
So
The trailers are.
Well, I mean, people aren't in there during the winter.
I understand that, but the
Right.
trailers are. You're storing them,
Right, they
and if
pay
a
a
tree
fee.
falls on it, who's responsible?
Right.
They do
You
pay.
or the trailer owner?
I think the trailer owner. I think they have insurance.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I can bring
I
it
don't-
back to.
I-
I can certainly
Can
bring
I
it.
ask you that question because the trail?
I can
mean,
bring
the
it
tree
back
fell
to
on
the Parks and
trailer
Rec
last
director
year.
that you want the fees increased. I'll bring it.
I'd like to know what the fees are.
Well, I took
There-
the 66,000 that
Yeah,
they,
but you can't base that on that. Is that
and he said there was 28 sites. I'm just saying.
okay?
Yeah.
So that's 2,300.
Yeah.
That's really
That
cheap.
probably includes the winter storage fee for
Yeah.
most of them.
But that's not very much
And that
money
yeah,
for a whole
and that
summer.
includes the winter storage.
Some of the
So
KOAs are only like 3,200.
yeah, but that's where at 23, and you just said are
But
at
it's a town.
32.
It's a town. It's not
With-
a private. Lee,
I don't understand what you mean by that.
Lee,
I want to go back to the electric again because those meters that are in that campground
Yeah.
only read 4 digits.
Right.
They don't read the right hand digit. That is 0 to 10. And what has happened when Parks and Rec through the years, you'd have a total of what was built,
Yeah.
and they would divide that up amongst all the kilowatt hours that were sold. So all those meters are going to have to be changed by the electric department.
Yeah, I know. We're in the process of doing that. We're in the process of talking to these camp people to get them on monthly billing. Like I said, that discussion was with the former superintendent long before me. The director brought it back around after we went to town manager. Superintendent said we can still do it. He resigned. I went to staff at the electric. They said, yeah, we can probably do it. Because the Parks and Rec, I think she took it out of her budget too. As you can see, she wanted it out of her budget because I believe it wasn't she was saying it wasn't averaging out. I think that we were paying more what they should have been they were using, right? We were covered for their usage. So instead, look, they're going to get billed and paid for what they use instead of us just flipping the bill. So that's why she really wanted it out.
So that's why the budget.
That's why the budget number's down.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but in the meantime, you're putting more work on the town hall because you're going to be doing the billing up there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's going to be monthly.
Yeah.
And if you read the tariff for the electric department,
Yeah.
that is predicated on a 12-month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for every month that it's shut off,
Right.
you're back billed for the minimum for that.
Yeah.
So if somebody shuts it off, once they're shut off, they're operate for 6 months, then they're back billed for $60
Yeah.
to have it put back
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Or they can pay the $10 a month.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Or we work out, like you said, when we increase the fees, we have the discretion of putting that into the fee agreement to kind of make it a wash.
Charlie, do the ones that have like a permanent deck and that, do they get charged taxes?
They're supposed to.
Yeah.
With, that's considered what's called a pickup.
Right.
And pickups are any changes that would go to assessing. Well, the building inspector would go out and inspect it, and then once it's approved, it goes into the software and picked up by the assessors, and they go out and inspect it.
Okay.
Or sorry, assess it.
Okay.
I got one
Right
more
now-
thing about that too.
Okay, right now, let's get this motion out of the way, okay?
Well, actually, his questions are about whether they should be billed directly or not, and that's a major part of it.
But that isn't,
It's here. She cut the campground electricity from $3,300 to $650.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of billing them directly,
but
but that's I'm proposing to do that as part
then
of
you're
this.
going to have to change your motion.
No, that is the motion.
That is the motion.
The 7230 is based on the fact that everybody will be billed directly rather than through the Parks and Rec Department.
Okay, because you didn't say that in your
Oh,
motion.
okay. Well, I don't have to. That's what the.
But he made
Well,
the
actually, a
for a
motion
bottom line.
should actually.
He made it for the bottom line.
Yeah, but
That's
that isn't
proposed-
what he's
Well,
saying.
that's the proposal from the campground.
All right.
The Parks and Rec Director and mine.
Okay, then what's
Or in
the
page
question then? What's
The other question I have is, at this point in time now, once the electric takes that over and put in the meters, all that underground in there now belongs to electric. It was never inspected that I'm aware of. It was done by contractor. So you don't know what is underground under all that roads and everything else. I'm sorry, I disagree with it.
So what would you change about it? About the vote.
No, what I would say is keep on doing what we've been doing.
You would add the 3,300 or whatever the difference is there back in again. That's what you would
That's
do.
what I would do. But it's,
I prefer billing directly. I think they can.
you
work
don't
it
have
out.
anything to do with it. I was involved with a lot of this stuff. I
Okay.
understand this stuff. You don't.
I'm sure
Okay.
you're
There's a
right.
I understand what you're saying, Lee. Let's vote on the motion by David for to approve the $7,230. Seconded by Sue Harville. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those
Nay.
okay.
Don't make any difference. It passes anyway.
Motion carries. Okay, summer vacation camp. This one she talked about putting the raft back in. Are they still planning on doing that?
I don't have no idea.
Have the selectmen
I have not
talked
heard
about
any
it
of
or
this.
not?
It's not have been. The selectmen have not been approached about it. I have not been approached about it. As far as I'm concerned, this is a rumor.
Well, she brought it up that night when you were there.
I wasn't here when she presented it.
Oh, you weren't? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she did. She brought that up. She wanted to get the raft back and 4 lifeguards.
And the only thing that I said, if you get the raft back in, make sure you check to see what you can do because of the ducks, because that's the reason it was taken out before, because the ducks would poop on it and it was terrible.
Right. Yeah.
So something has to be done there. I don't know if there's something they can put on it to keep them away from it, or what it is, but I just wanted to make sure that was checked on before anything was done.
Well, the raft is to be donated at my notes, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So actually, there's nothing in the budget about the raft.
No.
No,
Doesn't
but
it?
But
it has to be approved by the selectmen to put it back in.
Right, but the budget will be the same whether the raft is.
Oh, the budget has nothing to do with it.
Right.
we just have more
We
salaries.
just brought it up.
We'll have more salaries because of the raft.
No.
Right.
No.
Yeah, she said because of the raft, she wants to do an increase of the lifeguards.
I thought
Yeah.
there were more days.
No,
And
she
longer
said
hours.
Longer hours.
Longer hours.
she said she'll have an increase of lifeguards paid when she puts the raft back in.
But it's
And
mostly for
longer
the change
hours.
of hours from
Right,
11 to 4
because
to
of
9
the
to 5.
raft. That's the main reason, she said, when
Well,
she
the-
talked about it.
I thought the change here was because there's 3 more hours a day, which adds up over the time.
But she said the main thing was because of the raft, because you're going to have to keep an eye on the kids, because a lot of them, jump off the raft and get reckless and everything. So it's going to they're going to need more lifeguards.
I thought there were going to be more lifeguards because of more hours. Maybe I heard wrong. But
Well, probably because
That's
of
what I
both.
have.
Probably because of the hours and because of the raft. But I'm surprised that the selectmen weren't.
We haven't been approached about it.
Huh.
but I think
We have no idea of what
All right,
the
so can we
unanticipated
move on
costs
this?
are.
But were you approached that she did want to put it back in?
She has not made a presentation.
She has not. Okay. I know it was that night. So
Well, she talked about it here,
right.
but
an increase.
we don't know what size.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have no information on what it is, how it's,
Yeah.
what the insurance impact
Yeah.
may be.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Liability.
Maybe it's inflatable.
I don't think
Well,
so.
there's enough hot air
The
in
insurance
here.
will be.
But I don't
Okay.
think,
So
I don't think it changes the budget in any significant way.
That's a hell of an idea. Make it inflatable. Put pumping it on the shore. Make the air out, sink the thing so the ducks can't get on it, and pump it back up for the next day.
All right, it's not in the budget, so it doesn't matter.
okay. So does anybody want to make a motion to approve the $55,649 for the 2020 budget for the Park and Rec summer vacation programs?
I guess it's my job. Okay. I'll do that.
Okay, motion made by David Rule to approve the $55,649. Is there a second? I'll second it this time then. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sherry,
What?
you didn't say anything, so is
You
it
didn't say.
all those that are against it,
Finish your
all the
motion.
nays?
Nay. You have to finish the whole motion before I'm going to answer. Sorry.
I did finish the motion.
No,
I
you
had them all-
didn't, but whatever.
I had them
abstain.
already voted.
I'm going to abstain.
You're going to abstain again.
No, you know my reason. It's a bottom line budget.
So you either agree with it or don't. So why would you abstain? I'm just curious. I mean,
Why
you
should
either
I vote
agree
on
with it or
anything?
don't.
Why should I vote on anything?
Okay,
If I vote yes or no, it doesn't make any difference.
sure.
They can do with the money what they
Okay,
want.
page 96, the Park and Rec after school program. 20,344.
What page? I'm sorry.
Page
96.
96.
Oh. Should know that.
So I think I left in the middle of this. Is this an increase in pay or an increase in hours or
It's a little bit of increase, yes. Not a lot.
increase in pay?
Yes.
About, less than 600.
627, yeah.
And that's bringing in,
I mean, there's not that much of an increase.
after school brought in 23,460. Yeah, I'll move the 20,344.
Okay, motion made by David Rule to accept the 20,344 for the Park and Rec after school program. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Sue Harville. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Sherry?
I said aye.
I didn't hear you.
I don't know why you're questioning every.
Because I
me.
couldn't hear you, and I have to make sure that I
Okay,
hear
thank
everybody's
you.
vote.
I'll make sure I do. You hear me next time.
And
Sorry.
is there okay? Park and Rec community activities.
I'll
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah, that
661.
memorial, it's still under there. It's still under Park and Rec.
There's no other place to put it. I think, in the-
Well, there should be.
well, the
Okay,
state-
motion by David to accept the 661 for the Park and Rec community activities. I'll second that.
Yeah, it's your turn.
That's right. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Lee?
No,
That's a nay?
nay, no, abstain, whatever.
Something,
We could do
I looked at
patriotic
the minutes one
purposes.
time. You did that one?
Page 103.
We did the library. Yeah. I'm just looking, so I don't want to skip any. This we did.
Good job.
Patriotic purposes?
Yeah, we could do that, sure.
Well,
For
we did-
patriotic purposes, we got to change the Heritage Commission to 1,000.
All right.
That was changed to 1,000, wasn't it?
We changed it to 1,000.
Yeah.
So, under that, 11,189. You're
No.
gonna want to add 499.
Maybe 500.
500.
No, because there's a dollar already in it.
No, that's in the BOS. The department request is 11,189. You add 500.
Oh, okay. But in the Board of Selectmen, it's 499.
Well, it's actually 999.
$9.99 because we're using it 1,000. It's a
Oh,
dollar.
because they didn't put the 500 in. Okay. Okay. So, all those in favor of approving the 11,689?
No, be
Yes.
12.
No.
12,188.
No.
No.
You're only adding 500.
490, actually.
500 you're adding. 11,689.
Depends on what. If you look at the department.
Which line are we doing?
Department.
I'm
The
sorry.
column.
Are we
you-
doing with the department or the BOS?
Department.
You added 499.
You add
To the Heritage
500 and
Commission.
it's 11,689.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
Heritage Commission is going to be $1,001 then.
No, 1,000.
1,000.
So you
It's
add
The Heritage Commission had
$999
Addition.
to the BOS.
To the
line.
BOS.
Got it. I'm sorry. I was looking at something.
Yeah, it's confusing.
You're on.
Okay, I'll make a motion for 11,689 with the Heritage Commission at 1,000.
I second that.
Is that right?
Yes,
Is that what we're trying to do?
that's right.
Okay.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Yeah.
Lee?
Abstain.
Passed.
Motion carries.
Conservation Commission?
Do we, How many people are on that?
0.
Oh,
Why? Well, you've only got to just slam and put $1 in, right?
Yeah.
Well, how does it become 0? Weren't there people on it?
People quit.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Lamos moved out of town.
Yeah.
Other people, there's been nobody to volunteer.
Okay. So the $1 is understandable. I guess.
Then I think what we should do for the department is to put in $1 rather than the 500. If
Well,
there isn't anybody on it,
It's
And
a
under the
rigorous
BOS, it's a
under the
dollar.
board it is, but not under the department for
application to be
2020.
volunteer.
So
For the budget.
remove 490. Remove 499 is what you want to do.
Yeah. And put $1 there, because if there's not going to be,
Well, it's the selectmen's budget that was presented to us, so it's $1.
Right.
that's right. But
Yes.
what I'm saying is the department head is asking for the 500.
There was no department there. It was just.
Well, that's what it says,
I know.
right?
I just
I-
put it in
See?
because I wasn't sure. But the vote.
So you
would
can't
be,
leave it in there.
The vote would be $1 by the budget committee.
Right.
So
that's sure.
that's what I mean, Sherry.
What is in their, how much do they have in their
Check it out.
fund right now?
Oh man, I don't know. That's on the balance. I don't monitor that. That I mean, there's no.
So, but
you're
you're gonna put
asking me what
$1.
has been rolled over year after year.
No?
I don't have that off the top of
We're
my
at
head.
that meeting, so. I almost think it's kind of irresponsible to drop it at $1. I would leave the 500 in there. What if somebody does volunteer and step up, and there's a conservation issue?
Because you
I
can
mean,
always vote it back
it-
in, or they can always get the money someplace else.
No, there's strict guidelines of where they can use those funds for.
Oh, I know.
Exactly.
And it's land purposes.
Right.
Exactly. So what if
But
we
it
have
doesn't
an
have to
issue?
be in there. They could get the money from someplace
The
else.
$500 doesn't.
It's what
roll-
they use it for.
And the $500 rolls over to the
All right,
conservation
then
fund.
forget it. I withdraw my
Not the-
question.
not the
Lee's
general
point
fund.
made. You can get it from anywhere you want it. So if there is a
Bottom line
problem,
budget.
we'll find it. I mean, you just said it. You just said what he's been trying to make his point. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Are we going to do
So is
legal
there a
tonight?
motion, David?
I'd like to get to legal tonight. I'd
David,
like to
is there a
discuss that
motion?
a little.
Somebody else.
Do we
See
have
where we
time?
I'm
are.
not sure what I want to.
Somebody want to make a motion for that, to accept the $1? We'll put $1.
I make a motion
did it?
not to accept $1, to give them the 500.
I'll second that motion. See, I'm fickle.
There you go. Thanks, David.
I don't think we should give it to them if there's not going to be a committee.
Well,
by
then just
bother.
vote
They
it
can get
down.
the money from someplace else.
Then vote it down.
Sherry, I know that. Let's calm down, please. Okay, is there any more
Wow.
discussion? All those in favor of the $500,
Aye.
say aye.
3.
Opposed?
All those opposed?
No.
No,
Abstain.
so it doesn't pass.
So we have to come back to that some other day.
Yep.
Okay.
Sherry has a question.
Sherry?
Debt service?
Where it's 7:09, are we just doing the hour and a half you voted on?
Yes.
I mean, I wasn't at that
Only because
meeting.
it's bad weather,
Well, I
I'm not
was-
going to have everybody
okay.
stay late
So
tonight.
can we look at legal since we
I'm not
have
going to
the
vote on
camera
legal
here?
until Sandra's here. I
We-
promised her that I wouldn't.
Okay. We can't discuss it because Sandra's not here.
You can discuss it, but we're not voting on anything tonight.
Whatever. Sorry. Carry on.
Long-term bonds and notes, we don't really have to vote on that.
Sure we do.
Do we?
Yes, you do.
They're in the budget.
Do we? All right.
We don't
Well, it's nothing we
appropriate
can
the
do
money,
about
it
it.
can't be spent.
All right, I make a motion to accept the
give it a tag.
$129,331 for debt service principal. Is there a second?
Yes.
Seconded by David Rule. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I'll say aye on that one.
I just gonna say, did you
No.
say?
This is,
Aye.
they have to meet these or they're gonna be hurting pups.
Okay.
They have to.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's something they have to do. That's why I was surprised I put that on. Long-term bonds and
Can't play
notes
money with those games.
No.
on,
I'll move the 50,380.
I'll second that.
woohoo, Lee, you're doing good.
He's on a roll.
He is. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Payroll, Lee Nichols,
Tan.
Sue Harville,
Tax
Eli
anticipation
Badger,
note.
Jeanette Stewart. Motion carries. Tax anticipation notes.
So the taxes are being paid pretty good at this point.
Over 90% received.
92%, I think she said.
That's good.
So hopefully that will continue into
Yes,
next
sir.
year. Okay.
Okay, page 113, the tax anticipation notes.
I'll move the whole dollar.
Okay, David Rule
I'll
made the
second that.
motion to accept the $1. Seconded by Eli Badger. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Lee?
Oh my gosh.
That I this has been addressed numerous times, and I believe that if we wait till Sandra comes, because you're holding something else for her, she has also been on the budget committee. I've done 3 terms. This is my 3rd term. There is a reason why you cannot take it out due to per the budget law somewhere in there.
It's-
It has to be there for some silly little reason.
It has to be there because it's supposed to be a wash. That's the reason it
I
has to be
understand
there.
that, but to sit here and hash over it over and over and over,
We're not. Lee
I
just had a
believe
question
that
and I
it
let
has
Lee
to.
legal.
I'm
make
just
his
saying, I
opinion.
believe legally it has to be in there. You can't make it $1. It has to stay at the 42 to make the numbers work.
Lee?
If we were part of any public utility, they would bill for streetlights. And you're gonna pay it out of taxation.
Yep.
Okay.
That's why a lot of towns are going.
So what we're doing, because the town owns the electric department, the electric department pays for the streetlights. They have since day one.
Yep.
All right. Then I'm wrong. Sorry.
Make it $1, and God forbid if something else happens, you got a line you can spend money on and shift it from someplace else.
I'm going to make a motion to
I already
approve.
got made a motion.
Lee didn't do it as a motion. Are you doing it as a motion?
No, I made a motion for $1.
Okay. Is there a second?
Okay.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the $42,000. Is there a second? Seconded by Sue Harville. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those
Abstain.
opposed? Lee?
Abstain.
Okay.
Motion carries. I'll have to get this all typed out for you, Charlie, because you're going to have to. Are you writing down the changes?
Oh, I'm writing them down.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sherry?
I know it's kind of jumping around, but can we look at legal for the next? We have what, like 10 minutes left? 5 minutes left? So we
I don't
have
know what
like
good
a
it's going to do
total?
because I said I wasn't
Well,
going to vote
I'm
on
looking
it
for
tonight.
a
What do you want to
total
know?
on
Go
what?
ahead.
What is
I
the
totaled-
total legal
I
bill that
totaled
we
it up
have?
yesterday. The total has been 122,000, I believe 486, but it's definitely $122,000 for TS, what we're calling, they call TS1. Count 1, that's count 1 and count 2. Count 1 is the right to violation of the right to know. Count 2 is removal of the Selectman from office, Selectman Sharp and Selectman Newton. That count was defeated meaning that the judge said they don't have to be removed from office. That decision was appealed. The judge denied that, and as of yesterday, that we got told is being appealed to the Supreme Court.
Wow.
So
Why didn't they just resigning in the beginning and it would have been all over with?
whether or not the Supreme Court picks it up, I don't know. The attorneys are going to try to work it out to see if we even have to go that far.
Now, are you going to court in January?
That is going to be determined by the judge on Thursday,
Why Thursday?
because there's a pre-trial conference with the judge.
Oh, who has to go to that?
Where's
The
that?
attorney.
Only the attorney?
Yeah. I didn't get the invite.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's Thursday. Today's Tuesday.
Oh, sorry.
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah,
You're right.
So,
So 122,486 is what they've spent on this. Do we have any idea what lines they've taken that from? I mean,
no, you don't take. You take
It's a
from
bottom
the
line
the
budget,
bottom
so-
line budget.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
So if I took from other lines, then I'm not doing the budget justification to show you what's truly spent on the lines.
So you put it in the legal and contingency, right?
That's right.
I think
Well, you've taken some out of that capital reserve. Is that included in that 122?
Yes, ma'am. The contingency, unanticipated contingency
Okay.
article. That's
Okay.
it's in the back of it.
Okay. So it is included. Okay. Sherry?
And I don't know if you were here when I asked this question. Do we know if the chief bought his vests? Our last meeting, he said that the guy was coming on that Friday. He had that $4,700 in his budget.
Finance officer's off this week, so no. I would say no. Whether or not he put it in.
Why would it make a
Because the
difference if
finance
you bought
officer-
them?
The finance officer is the one that cuts the check. And if she's off on vacation this week, then
Well, they may have
Can we
ordered
get a
them.
bet?
yeah, I might have ordered them, but
Yeah.
so
There's no PO that's gone through?
right.
All right,
There's
cool.
no, there's no
Thanks.
manifest this week.
Okay.
Maybe one more next week. So, yeah, what you see is pretty much only one more week left in the for payables, which will be next week. Last expenditure report.
Just a reminder, we've got a meeting December 23rd, which I believe is next Monday, with the school. How to go over their budget. And how many are still willing to come December 31st for another meeting? Because the next Tuesday is Christmas Eve, so we don't want to do that.
December 31st is Christmas Eve.
No,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
that's
sorry.
New Year's Eve.
I can come. Eli, you said you would make arrangements.
I
if-
would make arrangements. I do not want
Come
to
on
be
the
here.
30th.
Okay, thank you. 31st.
Yeah, me too.
I'm coming
Yeah,
on
me
the
too. I don't want to be
31st.
here, but I will.
Okay. And David, you said you would, right?
Yeah. How
We're
long?
gonna come on New Year's
Lee?
Eve.
I could probably arrange it.
Okay.
Well,
So
there's only be like 4 of us.
that'd be fine.
Where's the budget meeting next Monday? Is that the
At the school.
Yeah.
Would it make a difference
Maybe
if I
after that.
changed the time to make it earlier, like 5, or no?
It would not make a difference.
How about if we decide to have the meeting and have it only from 6 to 7? We can still do a few more things and get them approved. Let's have it from 6 to 7. We'll have it for an hour.
Well, if you're
That doesn't.
Is that okay with you, Eli?
I've said I would be here.
Okay.
Ditto.
I do not. 2 hours or 1 hour wrecks my plans for New Year's Eve.
does it have to be in the evening?
Seriously, you're gonna have a meeting. I mean,
What's wrong with that? If people are
having it
willing.
meeting-
Can we have that Monday?
What's wrong with that if people are willing?
Well,
Oh,
you
you-
really want your meetings so the
ridiculous.
public
You're-
can attend.
Yeah,
and
you
I don't.
Well, that's.
you haven't had them all year round. We've
Hey,
had to have
how
them on
many
New Year's.
come to these
Now she
meetings?
wants to have them on New Year's Eve.
You want to have your meeting so the public will attend? Charlie, look at all the public that's here tonight.
I'm
I will-
trying to
I will
just
not
show
be
the
here.
other side of the
Period.
argument.
I won't be here.
Were we going to do the transfer station?
Not tonight.
Oh.
I said I'd be out by 7:30 because of the weather.
On 7:31.
Can somebody do it during the day then on the 31st? Or
I can.
I can. Sue can. David can. Lee? What's a good time?